jumpsuit, swimsuit. In this video, I'll share with you how I made my swimsuit. If this is your first time clicking on my video, you are welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in once again. So basically, swimwear is a collective name for any type of clothing you can wear swimming. Anything you can wear to swim is a swimwear, okay? And we have different type of swimwear. So we have swimsuit. If you see anything that comes together like a jumpsuit, swimsuit. Jumpsuit comprises of trouser and a bodice, right? The same idea for swimsuit. The upper part is joined to just the lower part of swimwear, so it makes it a swimsuit. I'm sure you've also heard bodysuit. Bodysuit is like having a swimsuit and now making it stylish, like adding sleeve to wear out or making it more stylish than a normal swimsuit. That makes it a bodysuit. You can wear it under a trouser, a skirt, a short. We also have bikini, which is just the bra part and then the undie. We have different types. I'll just put them on the screen for you to see. I'm pretty much sure you would like to make one for yourself. That is why you clicked on this video. Do keep on watching and learning with me. Let's get right into this tutorial. For this project, I'll be using 2 yards of lycra, which is stretchy, my thread, zip, scissors, and an elastic band. Most importantly, my basic swimsuit pattern. This tutorial is already on the channel. I'll leave the link in the description box. So let's get started. I want to alterate my neckline. The necklines are basic, okay? I want to alterate the back, so I'll come down by ½ inch on the chest line and just connect with my free hand to meet the neckline. That's the neck width of the back. So I want to have something like this for my back neckline. The front neckline remains the same. I will be adding collar to the neckline, so I'll measure the actual width of the front neckline and also measure the actual width of the back neckline. During the drafting process, I added ½ inch allowance to the shoulder, so while measuring, I excluded that ½ inch allowance. I'll be cutting the back neckline, so I want to make sure I have the exact neck width measurement before I cut it out, okay? I'll then lay them on the fabric, add ½ inch allowance round. I had already added ½ inch allowance to the shoulder, so that will be excluded. I've finally added ½ inch allowance round. I'll move on to cut out and also work on the neckline. However, I've drawn the neckline of the back, I will do that right on the fabric, okay? I actually want to keep the basic pattern as it is. I'll curve up to the neck width and also make sure that both front and back shoulders are still the same. I'll be using an elastic band to neaten the neckline of the back, but before I do that, I want to fix zip, so I'll fuse the center back of my swimsuit so it keeps the back firm. This is what I have, and for the zip I should use a matching zip, but I didn't get one. I had this and black, so I felt like black would have been better, so I used a black invisible zip. So I'll move ahead to measure down from the waist where I want the zip to actually stop, so I use 7 inches down from the waist. I'll quickly move on to fix my zip. Zip fixed. I also worked on one side of the back neckline, which I'll show you soon. I made mention that I wanted to use an elastic band to knit in the neckline, so that is what I used. However, this is how my zip looks like. All right, so this is what I have. Once again, I'm going to turn the neckline together with the elastic band. You know, every zip has an extra allowance at the top, right? So I began fixing the zip together with the allowance so I can turn it easily without having the teeth disturbing. Okay, so this elastic band is around 1 cm but less than ½ inch. I'll place the elastic band a little away from the zip like this. I don't want it at the edge exactly, just a little away. I'll trim off any excess allowance of the zip I have, and I'm just going to place it around the neckline, and then after stitching I'll fold it together with the elastic band. That's literally what will happen. Okay, so I'll just pin it down for you to see what I just explained. So it will go around like this, and at the shoulder side, you know, I'll be joining with ½ inch, right? So I'll make sure it ends a little away from that ½ inch as well. While stitching, I'm going to avoid stretching the elastic band. All right, exactly as I've placed it, that is how I'll follow and sew. I've changed my stitches to zigzag, and I'm going to just zigzag the edge of the elastic band together with the neckline. Okay, just the edge. I believe you can see what I'm doing, and I'll end right here. Yeah, that's the first stitch. You can actually use a straight stitch, but make sure it is not too tight. Then I'll fold it like this. I also make sure that the fold ends right before the zipper stopper, that plastic there. Okay, so after folding, I made sure the zip also aligned equally, and then I went ahead to stitch with my zigzag stitch again. So this is how it looks like. I'll move on to place my front piece onto the back and pin them together right sides facing. So whilst joining the shoulders together, the front ½ inch allowance will be left out. I've already hemmed the neckline of the back, so it affects the joining part. I'm also going to join the crotch of the front and back together, and also join the sides. That is literally what I'll be doing. Especially on the front shoulder, it is expected to have that ½ inch extra allowance. With the excess allowance left around the shoulder of the front, I'll be using it to attach my collar. In case you wouldn't do that, then you can join your shoulders together, then you use the elastic band to neaten the neckline right from the one edge of your zip to the other round. Okay, the crotch part of our body is very sensitive, so we will have to line that side so it doesn't tamper with our comfortability. So I'll be using 5 inch total length, and I've folded it into 2 first, and I'll fold it into 4. Okay, the edge, that's the bottom part, has to be on fold, and this I'm using the front pattern to draw out whatever I have. I'm just going to shape it out like this. Okay, and that's pretty much it, just easy. So I've joined all the parts as I've mentioned, and I pressed it open. So this is the extra allowance for the front neckline again, which I'll attach together with my collar. So at this point, I fit it. My first fit, it was really comfortable. You have to make sure that you fit it before you move on to do anything else. So in case you don't feel okay with any part, you can just alterate it and you move on. All right, so I'll move on to measure the front neckline, and whatever I have, I think I have about 10, and the total neckline I measured initially in the beginning was 16, right? So I'll keep all those measurements in mind. So dividing 16 by 2 is 8. I'll measure it this way, and I'll add extra 1 inch. I want to overlap the back so I can add some snaps for closure. You can extend it like a strap so you can tie it. I also went ahead to mark the distance I have, which is 9 inches. Have 4 and half like this. The height of my collar will be 1 inch, so I'll just mark it just as you see. One end will be the front, and the other end of the band will be the center back. So on the center back, I'll go up by ½ inch and connect with a slight curve to meet the midpoint. And then I'll remark my 1 inch height and reconnect again to the top part of the midpoint. So here is my center front and center back. I'll place my right angle ruler like this to take off any excess that I'll have. Yeah, so that's it for the collar. The center front will be on fold, and when I place this on my material, I'm going to cut 2 on fold. One will line the other, right, and add allowance round. So this is what I have. I've added the allowance to the collar, placed it on fold anyways. Now I'll notch the center for easy identification. So I'll get to the machine and just sew the top part of this collar, and this is what I have. I've also understitched the parts, that's the one that will be the lining. Okay, so it lays nicely. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'll find the midpoint and match it together with the neckline of my front and determine wherever the neckline stops, and I'll notch a little bit. Now the next thing I'll do is to flip back the collar right size facing, so I'll sew the parts that will not be joined together to anything. That's the back. Okay, so I'm going to sew it like this and end here. I'll repeat the same thing to the other one, and this is however I have stitched it, and I stopped here. I'll notch a little further so the allowance will lay nicely, and notch each corner, and then I'll turn that part inside out. Whatever I'm doing to this part, I'll do it to the other end of the collar. So this is what I have. So the allowance that is left out simply means that will be attached to the front. Okay, so I'm going to pin them together. I'll use only one part of the collar, which is going to be the actual material, not the lining. I'll pin it to the front. I'll use a lining to knitting it afterwards, so I'll just stitch it together. I hope I'm making sense anyways. Feel free to let me know in the comment section. This is what I have. Automatically the allowance goes into the collar. I'll just fold the excess of the inner collar or the lining right to knitting the neckline round. So while doing this, I'll pin it in place. So when I take it to the machine, I'll stitch in between the collar and the neckline. I'm not going to top stitch on the collar, but rather in between, right? So the stitches can be hidden a bit. So this is what it looks like. I'll just overlap the back like this with a pressed head. So we will quickly move on to our last part, which is knitting the edge of the tie. So I'm going to use the same elastic band and the same method I did for the back neckline. Okay, and I'm going to start from the side. I'll press the seam once again open and place the elastic band like this, and I'll pin for you to see just how I'll be stitching. Again, I'm not going to pull the elastic band. You can only pull if you realize that your tie is loose and it's not stable. Okay, you can just pull a little bit, and even while pulling, exclude pulling around your crotch. That place is very sensitive. Okay, and then when I get to the beginning of the first elastic band, I'm just going to overlap them together. That's what I'll do. So I'll overlap. So you realize that this same one, I stitched the edge of the elastic band together with the tie. So I did the same thing to the other side. This time I'll place in my lining, my crotch lining, just like this. I'll fold it into two and meet the midpoint with the crotch and just pin it in place. Then I'll fold the elastic band, that's the edge on it, to seal it. I'll fold in the edge round and top stitch. I top stitch at the right side, so I'll move on to stitch round. With the second stage, if you stretched on the first stage, as in if you stretch whilst attaching the elastic band, make sure you stretch again while sewing, okay? Mine was really fit, so I wish I hadn't even added the elastic band, but it still gave me a good fit. I also re-secured the crotch area with zigzag stitch. This is to avoid the stitches losing. So this is how it looks like. It's nice, it's beautiful. I really love this. You want to try it, okay? Just try it. I love the outcome, especially the tie area. It's giving our normal Andy vibe and I love it. I'm still saying I love it. I'll be attaching a sleeve to this, but this will be in a different tutorial, so you want to keep on watching. But please do like the video if you learned something, and I would love to see yours in case you recreate. Tag me on Instagram and share with me. I'll also share it in our community page so we can all see your outcome. Do turn on your notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share to a friend, a soulmate. Until then, I will see you in my next one.